instruction, golf news, equipment, travel, interviews, course profiles, and more. Your weekly fix of all things golf is about to begin. It's the Flagstick Podcast with your hosts, Jeff Potter and Scott McLeod. Well, welcome everybody to the 50th episode of Flagstick Podcast. I am obviously your host, Jeff Potter, and with me as always is my co-host, Scott McLeod, here to celebrate 50 great podcasts with you.
We've already celebrated 50 years.
I know. No, it's not 50 years.
Oh, yeah, okay.
It would have been cool. If us. Sponsored this week, of course, by Adidas. Adidas introduces the Ultimate 365 Tour Heat Apparel and ZG23 Vent Footwear to help golfers handle the heat this season. The collection features a mix of silhouettes for men and women with heat-ready and no-show technology to keep golfers cool and dry so they can perform their best. Both the ZG3 Vent and Ultimate 365 Tour apparel are available now on adidas.ca, the Adidas app, and, of course, at selected retailers worldwide. Just before we get going on this, we've got to make sure you're following across all social media networks, Instagram, Facebook, and, of course, the X. Formerly Twitter, subscribing on Spotify, Audible, Google Podcasts, and Apple Podcasts. And we really do encourage you to hit us up on YouTube. We're going to be announcing those two winners of our YouTube contest later in the show. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, like us, and click the notification bell so you never miss a single episode of this podcast. And there have been 50, or there have been 49 and about to be 50.
Yes.
So, Scotty Mac, here we are. Who would have thought? Well, I guess we would have thought.
Yeah,
it's a milestone 50 podcast. I mean, is it? It's cool that we've done 50. It's kind of a cool round number and everything. But
yeah. Well, I will say this. I mean, I've said it before because obviously we're involved with supporting a previous podcast and stuff like that. The average podcast lasts 6 shows. I mean, there's millions out there. People are trying to do them. They realize pretty quickly it takes a lot of effort, a lot more than they think, just to sit down and chat about things, whether it's scripting, subjects, guests, sponsors, posting, marketing. There's a lot to it.
Oh,
there
yeah,
really is.
definitely.
So, but yeah, just grateful we're here, and we're thankful for everybody that supported us as far as the sponsors.
Oh, big time.
Through the couple of years, we couldn't do it without them. As well to the guests and most importantly, the people that are tuning in. We've had downloads in 73 countries, which is hard to believe. I don't know how somebody in the middle of Vietnam really cares about what we're talking about. Hey, but somehow they do, and we appreciate them doing that.
Have you heard us? I mean, I can understand why they tune in. I mean, if you listen to the podcast, I think it's pretty easy to understand why somebody that far away would be tuning into this podcast.
Okay, sure.
I mean, it's all about this guy and that guy and that guy.
Oh, it's fun. Hey, you know what? It's our chance, actually, more than anything, to get together once a week if we, when we can.
Oh, I know.
Just to have a chat. People should realize that, in this day and age, we work remotely. We work closely, but we're, not on top of each other every day doing stuff or whatever. So this is an opportunity as much to, to get together and talk about topics for us to discuss them, but, to bring a different angle. And I think that was one of the comments that I read when I was going through and looking through the responses for the YouTube contest. There's one person who was down in the States and commented, it's really nice to hear some things from a Canadian angle. Which, that is certainly,
we are Canadian
for sure. So, yeah. So anyways, happy 50th, bud.
Yes. Happy 50th to you. Now I'll tell you something. After this many podcasts, the kind of things that we talk about, I mean, obviously there's news stuff that we talk about, and we're going to get to that really shortly just to get caught up. But a lot of the conversations that we have, these are the kinds of conversations that we have when we're not, 100%. Recording. Yeah, I mean, that's sort of why this sort of developed, I guess, the fact that we do it as a podcast as opposed to just, getting on the phone and talking. It's like, why are we just talking? We should be recording what we're saying, because some of this is pretty good stuff. So that's why, that's why we're here. I mean, that's, we get things we want to talk about. We'd rather share, there's no secrets here.
No, I know. We'd rather share it with everyone.
We'd rather share it with everybody and let you get a kick out of what we're talking about and have your opinions, whether you like what we say or whether you don't like what we say, and it is what it is. That's kind of the nature of a podcast, right?
Yeah.
That said, we do have a really good show lined up, especially the back nine. I mean, we won't discount the front nine, but the front nine is going to be a little bit of wrapping some things up, informing you of some golf events and so on, some things that have occurred in the last week. And in the back nine, we're going to get into the bucket list talk and some cool things, like some things that are on my bucket list, some things on your bucket list. A lot of them are similar, but some of them aren't. And we're going to get into that conversation and discussion in the back nine. But we want to get going on the front nine so we can get to the news information. The front nine obviously is brought to us, you, by our really good friends at Metcalf Golf Club. A natural setting, a pleasant challenge. Golf season is very deep into it now, and but you can still save big on your golf for the rest of the year. Join a league if there's any space available in any of the leagues that are left, but especially purchase those game packs and be ready to hit the tee with some extra money in your pocket. Visit metcalfgolf.com to shop for those now.
Yeah, lots of season left. Tons
of season left. And the way the weather's been going on here, guy, we might get 30-degree weather into January.
For sure.
Who the heck knows? I was just actually joking with my son Brandon. Here we are. It's Thursday. We're recording. Usually this is when we record, and for the last pretty much every Thursday for over a month now, there's always a thunderstorm. If it's not a thunderstorm, it's a tornado warning. And in fact, 2 times we've actually had tornadoes touch down, one not too far away from here and near Falcon Ridge Golf Course, and another one in Barhaven that, and sorry for all the damage that those things cause, but there's not much you can do about it. But it seems like today there wasn't supposed to be any rain or anything in the forecast. So we're leaving where we were at his little ice hockey session there, and lo and behold, it starts raining.
Yeah.
Big cloud starts raining. It's like, where in the heck did this come from? Well, it's thunderstorm Thursday. So what the heck?
They do pop up.
You just grow to expect it, right? This isn't Florida. It's friggin' Metcalf.
Hey, here's the other side of it. It's an outdoor game. Minus dangerous weather that you can't play in. You got to be prepared to go out and play in a little bit of rain, because in the end, I mean, if you're sitting there in December going, man, I wish I'd played that day when there was a little bit of rain, you're going to regret not doing it. So
you do know, people, that there's a reason why they sell golf umbrellas,
and
rain jackets,
rain gloves,
That's why. It's not so they can look good in your golf bag when it's 40 degrees out.
No,
it's so you can play in the rain and stay dry.
Exactly. Yeah.
So as much as I hate to say it, suck it up, play some golf in the rain. All right.
And it's fun. It's a fun time to be on the golf course. I mean, half the time that, the places are not as busy, so you got a little bit more room. I know I played a bit on Tuesday on a day that was supposed to be rainy. And, the golf course ended up fairly vacant and got around, fairly quickly, and it turned out to be nice. So you just never know. So
and it's lift, clean, in place.
Risk it. Yeah.
Who doesn't like ball in hand?
For sure.
Anybody. Okay, Scott. So let's get people sort of caught up on what's been going on. Obviously, big news for Eastern Ontario, particularly, and the Kingston region is Ashton McCulloch and the Canadian Amateur victory. Like, take us through what that means, because that's big. Like, that's a pretty big deal for the Kingston area, especially.
Yeah, I mean, there's been 118th playing of the Canadian Men's Amateur Championship. The first one was held in 1895 in Ottawa. People should know that. I mean, and funny enough, the last time somebody from Kingston, Ontario won was in 1895. So it's crazy to think there's a 123-year gap that's there. Now, there's been players that have contended through the years. But Ashton McCulloch, huge for him to get that victory. I mean, to pull it off is one thing. And then, there's been one other Eastern Ontario winner that wasn't from Kingston. That was Greg Olson, who did it in 1980, and we've talked about him and stuff before. Ashton won an exemption right away to go. He got 2 exemptions out of that. One, it was to play in the U.S. Amateur this week. Nice. Unfortunately, he missed the cut down there in Colorado, and then he also gets in the RBC Canadian Open next year, which is huge for him because he's
Big time.
came close to Monday qualifying a couple of times. Now, if people are not familiar with Ashton, he is a student at Michigan State, plays in the golf team there. Previous winner of things like the Eastern Ontario Championship, the Glencoe Invitational, obviously won a couple of city championships down in Kingston, but solid player. This is obviously the big win for him. He had tied for second earlier this year at the Ontario Amateur, and that one stung a little bit because he was kind of in the mix. We had Cameron Perro, who was the winner of that,
Yes.
on the podcast, and I've already talked to Ashton. We talked before he went to Colorado, and we're going to get together and connect pretty soon here, hopefully before he gets to school, but otherwise we will get to him and do a little bit of a longer interview. But great for him. Had one of his best friends on the bag as well. Just made for a great thing, and he won by a bunch. Which was just a great way to do it. So huge accomplishment there, and nice to see. We have had a Canadian women's amateur champion from Eastern Ontario. Obviously, we've had a couple of those.
Yeah, that's
Anderson
true.
and Augusta James. But the men's, it has definitely been a drought at 123 years.
Drought no more. The drought is over.
That is a drought for Kingston, as we mentioned. Greg Olson, 1980. That's 43 years ago. But certainly, that's three people from Eastern Ontario on the men's side in 123 years. So yeah, pretty cool.
Awesome. Okay. The Play Junior Golf Tour, which obviously we are a big part of because they play all season long for their shot at the Flagstick Cup, and the latest version, the latest event was held at the Carlton Golf and Yacht Club at the Brad Fritsch Junior Classic, presented by Davidson Houle Allen in support of the Ottawa Heart Institute. Now there was a record 22 girls in the field for this event, which is awesome. It's just awesome. Sign of things to come, I think, especially for the Play Junior Golf Tour. Lots of great things that Chris is doing there, and Chris Veldkamp, that is the founder and operator. But winners, let's just go through the winners real quickly. Scott, to get the names out there, and then we could go from there.
Yeah, just a couple of quick things on that. Like you said, Ottawa Heart Institute, it's close to Chris as far as a cause. They did raise $2,000, which they gave to the Heart Institute. They coordinated that with our friend Leanne Lang from there, which is fabulous to see. As you mentioned, 22 girls, amazing. And I think, I posted that on social media and people went nuts over that because, from other tours, it's not been the norm over the years, but 22 out of 79 players is amazing and going to go farther. Winners on the week were Sarah Tahar, Carrie Zhao, Olivia Pattison, Jack Sample, who just won the OVJ Pee Wee match play, by the way, which we'll have a wrap up of that next week. Michael Vavone, who's been playing great this year. Peyton Pattison, again, another win for her. Sammy Tahar, which is great. There's sister one and now brother. Xinyao Zhang, Peyton Veldkamp, Haley Dennis, Bentley Klumpmaker, Bryce Sismar, and in the U9 girls, Vanessa Bell. Remember that name? Cool golf swing, really good golf swing, and looking forward to seeing her on Monday, which I think you can share a little bit more about what's happening on Monday.
Yes, well, of course, the Kevin Dickey Tour Championship, presented obviously by Flagstick.com, coming up on Monday at Cataraqui, and this completes the race to the Flagstick.com Cup on the Play Junior Golf Tour. Exciting conclusion to the year. Great golf course for the kids to be able to play.
And they're excited there too. I mean, as I mentioned to you off the air, I was over there on Tuesday and talking to Ian Reston, who's originally from Prescott, about the championship. They aerated the greens last week. Their big concern was to making sure that it's in premium condition for these juniors, which is really cool to hear.
Yes.
Because a lot of times you get tours, they're kind of an afterthought, the juniors and so forth, but they want to make sure this is spectacular, a great experience for these kids. I think they're taking up to 80 for the tour championship and plan to be on site there for that. So that's looking forward to that.
Awesome. Now, the couple of the pieces of news to get to, I just want to get to really quickly while we're in the middle of this. The TaylorMade YouTube contest that we have been running for a few weeks. We said, leave your comments on any episode of the show.
Yeah.
Then Scott went to PEI for a while, so we kind of pushed that off. But now we've selected our two winners.
We have.
Chris Pereira and Thomas Westfall.
Yeah.
Congratulations on winning the TaylorMade YouTube contest prize package. Which will get sent out to you as soon as we get some mailing information from you, but we will reach out and get that information from you shortly. So congratulations for that. And make sure that you, as we always say, subscribe to the YouTube channel, because this is the kind of stuff that we're going to do. And we've got more goodies, so we're going to give away more stuff. So not this week, but we'll put some packages together and get something ready for you for the next show.
For sure.
Some sad news, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Longtime PGA Canada professional Jeff Baker passed away at the age of 64. He was a longtime PGA of Ottawa member, Gatineau Golf Club, Champlain Golf Club. From my own personal side of things, obviously, when I started the magazine in the business back in 1996, there were a number of I call them the older pros, the original pros, and Jeff was one of those that was super, super supportive of what I was doing, was extremely helpful in pointing me in the right direction on who the people were to speak to, what I should be looking at, who I should be talking to. Like, really amazing, awesome guy. Very sad to hear of his passing. Thoughts and prayers go out to Jeff's family during this time, and we hope everybody's well.
Just a quick note on that. Jeff was a past president of the zone, and then also was the head professional of the year as well. So that, he was highly regarded by his peers, really cared a lot about not only the game, but the industry as well, and gave back. And as a result of it, he was highly respected. And his service was today. And I'm sure that there was a lot of people that are thinking about him and his family.
Indeed. Okay. Switching gears again, on the Flagstick.com PGA of Ottawa Tour, the Pro Lady event took place at
Loch March.
Is at Loch March. Great venue. That course, I love that golf course, but the course does not like me.
It doesn't love you.
It's sad, because here you got a golf course that I actually really like.
Yeah,
I really like to play Loch March. I love the golf course. And I love the people out there and the whole atmosphere, everything about it. It just doesn't like me. For some stupid reason, I cannot score on that golf course ever. But I still love going there and playing, and I keep going back because I like it.
Yeah.
Not because
the winning team could score this week. That's for sure.
No question about that.
Under,
so
12 under 60.
Team Rivermead, right? That's back to back.
Yeah. Different players, but
the pros, which makes it even more extraordinary,
right? But Sarah Landry, who's a great player, a great professional, had the pleasure of playing with her in a group last year at the Pink Challenge Cup, and I know they had a great time. They had Carrie McVeigh, Kristen Stauffer, and Julia Pelletier on her team, and by coincidence, the second place team was also from Rivermead. Laura McCutcheon, Elisa Muse, Jose Lacasse, with Mathieu Perron, and they just beat them by a stroke. So I guess there's there's going to be some bragging rights there for a year. And that's so a great event out there. Obviously Danielle Nadon does a great job hosting that, along with the zone with Caroline and so forth. And I know they had a great time out there. And up next for the zone is the zone championship, which gets underway Sunday and wraps up on Monday, which kind of creeped up on me. And it's a little bit of a small field. I'm not sure why it's a little bit of a small field, but whatever the case, that will be decided, and we'll update you next week on that.
Are you playing?
I'm not. I'm at the tour. I'm at the Flagstick.com Cup.
Yeah, I know.
Coverage. Work first.
I know.
Work first.
Sad, but I know. I understand.
Yeah. Totally. Can't be everywhere as it was.
No. Well, you could be, but
you could try, but
it wouldn't work out so well for you.
No, not the case. So
all right. And one last little item on the front nine.
Yeah.
The Flagstick 2-Ball Championship registration is open. Has been for a while.
Need your entries.
Need the entries. we do not want to not run this event. However, we do need to have more than the number of teams that we have to kind of make it a reasonably decent event. And I don't know why you're not signing up, people. I don't know why. It's a great event. It's a great venue. It's in the fall. Can't possibly have anything going on September 9th and 10th in the fall. Come on. Let's be honest with ourselves. Nothing going on. Hockey hasn't even really started at that point. You know,
just grab a partner. I mean,
it's not hard.
I've had a few people this week just reaching out, asking about format and so forth. And we'll just reiterate, it's a combined Stableford. So you're playing for points. And the thing is, you don't have to be a top player. You can play with a C flighter. We just combine the indexes. That creates your flight. And then you're basically just playing for points beyond that. And I'll tell you what, the reaction last year from players was, man, this is fun to do, because we're just going all out, and it doesn't matter if I make a 10, it only counts for, losing a point. And, just make as many birdies as you can. It's fun.
You don't even lose a point for a bogey on this event, people. Understand that. You don't lose a point for making a bogey. You lose a point for making a double
or worse. Yeah.
You gain a point for a par. So go out and between the two of you make 18 pars, you get 18 points. Like, make 18 bogeys and 18 pars, you get 18 points. And that's pretty darn good.
I hear the course is in pristine shape.
Amazing shape.
So
come on, let's make this happen.
Yeah.
Don't make me cancel this event. I don't want to. Okay.
You got it.
All right. Okay. With all that said, it's time to take a little break. Get a little swig of coffee, water, whatever we need to do here to soften up the vocal cords, because we're going to be chatting bucket list.
You got her.
On the 50th anniversary of the Flagstick Podcast. So I don't want you going anywhere. I want you staying and hanging around and getting ready. So we're going to take a break. When we come back, the bucket list on the Flagstick Podcast. Stay with us. Adidas introduces the Ultimate 365 Tour Heat Apparel and ZG23 Event Footwear to help golfers handle the heat this season. Both the ZG23 Event and Ultimate 365 Tour Apparel are available now on adidas.ca, the Adidas app, and selected retailers worldwide. And welcome back to the 50th episode of the Flagstick Podcast with Jeff Botter and, of course, Scott McLeod. And we are going to head out to our back nine. Presented by Castleview Golf Club. Only a short 25-minute drive from Ottawa, this 18-hole layout is renowned for its superb conditions and unsurpassed service, making it a must-play in the capital region. 5, 10, and 20 round packages are available. Visit castleview.com for more information. All right, here we go. On the 50th episode of the Flagstick Podcast, we are going to talk bucket lists.
Yeah.
Everybody's got them. Some people write them down. Some people have them in their head. Some people don't talk about them.
You know what? I tweeted this week about the fact that we were doing this, and I had some great responses.
Because I follow you on X.
X.
Is it even Twitter? Is it called X, or is that just a logo?
It's X, but people.
You know what the sad part about it is? It sounds like, you know what? Are you on X, Scott?
I know.
Like, seriously,
on drugs.
Elon, what is wrong with you?
Yeah. Let's just say he maybe didn't think it all the way through.
The guy is so smart. How could you not think it through?
We'll leave it at that.
Twitter is good. Twitter is a good name. I like Twitter because it's about tweeting. Birds talk. They sing. That's what Twitter is.
Yeah. Anyways,
whatever.
We'll leave that at that.
All right. Yes. Let's talk about the bucket list.
Yeah. So, you know what? The reason why I was thinking about this was, obviously we had a 50th coming up, a little bit of a milestone, but, I was thinking about milestones more than anything. And, as you know, I was down in PEI and hanging out with Sammy McPhail and Ben King as they completed their 7 different golf courses, 9 holes, marathon in a single day, which I thought, oh my God, this is crazy. But then also talking to another
good for you guys.
Tour pro, exhausted. Good idea when you start, that's for sure. But then I was also talking to another tour pro and just saying, hey, kind of what's on your bucket list that's not your job? Do you have one? And he just, it kind of took him back at first because everybody's always talking to him about goals and things like that. And then he basically just said, hey, you know what? I had this one trip did recently or whatever, and it's got me thinking more about non-competitive buddy trips, just going out, having a good time or whatever. And that started to build his thoughts for his bucket list. And he's just a young guy. So yeah, I thought, you know what, we've talked about it a bit over the years. And I'll preface this by saying this. We're both over 50. We've both done a lot of trips and things over the years. We've been very fortunate in this golf industry to do a lot of cool things that some of them, yeah, we would have put on our bucket list. Some happened that were our bucket list worthy. So we're very fortunate. And I will just say right off the start, if I never get to any of this stuff on the bucket list, I would still have had a very thorough golf life. Let's just say that.
No question.
But that said, there's still some fun stuff I'd still like to do.
Well, and the thing is, like, you're right. We have been fortunate, given what we do, to have been able to go on some trips.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of the trips that we've taken over the years, you're right. They wouldn't necessarily be ones you should sit down and say, I want to go and do this.
Right.
Looking back on the trips that we did,
they're ones that you talk about, like it's a bucket list.
They were sort of bucket list, non-bucket list type trips. Like when we went to Michigan, I wouldn't trade that trip for anything. There was so much involved in that trip that is memorable.
Unexpected.
Just from driving with an empty tank of gas.
Exactly.
Like the experiences, the elk farm, like all of that stuff that we did was the kind of stuff that you do on bucket list trips, but that going to the Sunrise side of Michigan would not normally have been something that would have stuck on a bucket list.
Right. Yeah.
And the same with a lot of the trips that we've done, tons of the trips we've done, especially some of those ones that we did to, Georgia and like, again, memorable trips, not stuff that it wouldn't be a bucket list thing.
No, because you wouldn't think about
more
than anything. You're not thinking about, hey, you know what? I'm going to fly into Pittsburgh and I'm going to come out in Atlanta 12 days later and I'm going to play golf in 6 states. Like that's not something most people would plan out and consider happening, but it happened. So
I don't think people would have ever planned to do those trips the way we did them.
No,
you just wouldn't.
No,
but man, we did them
for sure. So, and
here's the
other side of it too. I mean, obviously it's very specific for a lot of people. Bucket lists, generally in golf, people will talk about golf courses themselves. There's lots of other things that can happen that are on a bucket list. I talk to people all the time. I talked to a guy yesterday who, he's at a certain age and he wants to shoot a certain score at a certain age. He wants his index to be a certain amount. That's his bucket list. So bucket lists are personal and they're much like anything else. I mean, I'm not a fan of course rankings that say, here's the course ranking. And we've talked about this extensively before. And here's the ranking for everyone. It's personal, what a ranking should be. Right.
Yeah.
So, and I don't put a lot of value in it that way. So for some people, their bucket list might be taking on some golf course that you've never even heard of before, but it has some tangible reason why they want to make that happen. And it's related to golf. So thus it's on their bucket list. So that just sort of sets up kind of where we're going. But as I thought about it, I thought, you know what, Jeff, what's your bucket list? I know I'm starting to think more about some of the things I want to do, but let's go down the road and see where you wrote down and what you're thinking about.
Well, I mean, I think we did have the opportunity shortly after we turned 40 to go to Scotland and play golf in Scotland.
Yeah, which was great to do that with you, for sure.
Yeah, it was an awesome trip, bucket list worthy 10 times over.
Yeah.
Having done it now,
what a tease.
And wanting to go back.
Yeah. And I was fortunate. I did go back a few years after that. So,
but you didn't go back and necessarily get into the golf end of it to the extent that, you know what I mean? Like you did play
No,
golf, but
yeah, oh no, but I wasn't there for the purpose of
no,
taking down a bunch of golf courses. And let's just say, you know, you don't necessarily have to go to a place like Scotland and do what we call the sweater tour, which is, you know, all the ones that are hosted the Open. There's
yeah.
many great golf courses to play or whatever. But you're right. When we went to Scotland, we managed to play some great golf courses, but obviously every time we turned around another corner, there was another one. They were like, "Ooh, that'd be fun to play," or
Well,
"That'd be fun
exactly.
to
And I
play."
think, you know, Scotland, a lot like PEI,
Right.
you can go, or even, you know, PEI or, you know, someplace like Nova Scotia,
Mhm.
there are sections of it. Like
Sure.
you
Yeah.
can go, what we did kind of staying, we didn't really get all the way around Scotland golfing. We
Yeah.
were kind of in an area of Scotland because we were
Yeah.
moving from place to place and had a
Yeah.
schedule and so on. So I want to explore, I want to go back.
Right.
Um, and obviously I would want to go back and have the old course at St. Andrews on the list of courses to play, which is very difficult to do
Right.
unless you plan way in advance for it or you
Yeah.
know somebody.
Yeah. The tickets are actually the reservations for 2024 are about to come up right now. Actually,
So
I think another week or so. So if you want to get on that, you know, you got to do that right away.
So that would be one that I want to go back and I want to play the course. We
Yeah.
walked it, which
Yeah.
was fun,
Yeah.
but walking's not playing.
Yeah.
I want to play it.
And you never got to the West Coast.
No, and I'd
You
love to
did spend
play.
some time in Gullen, so you got to play
Yes.
North Berwick and a few of those. So
But on that trip to Scotland, I definitely want Royal Dornoch. You
yeah,
know, it's got to be on that list for me.
yeah.
The old course at St. Andrews has got to be on that list for me.
Mhm.
And there's a couple others there that I'd love to throw on the list as well. I'm not going to get into naming them all, but those are two in particular that if I went back
Yeah,
and did another golf trip to Scotland,
yeah,
I would want, that's two
yeah.
courses in particular I'd want to be on that list.
Yeah, I think one of the things for me about Scotland that was interesting in our trip versus the one I went back on a family trip where it was kind of our own schedule. And, you know, people have to understand and realize when we go on these trips and it's for a story or whatever, we have a pretty regimented schedule. It's
Mm-hmm.
here, we want to see this, you're going to be writing about this, you know, it's so you have interviews set up, there's lots of things to do. So while you're there, it's not as casual as it might be. And now I know when I went back with my family, one of the cool parts was part of our trip is we spent a week, we'll call it living in St. Andrews, where we just parked the car and we basically just hung out.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we played some golf in town, but we basically just lived a St. Andrews life, which was amazing. And, you know, I think that gave me the taste for that. And then knowing that, you know, people that I know, like Lauren Rubenstein, who did a seasoned Dornoch, his book. Um, there's Curtis Gillespie did an amazing book where he spent a year living in Gullen. I think there's an opportunity there to kind of spend a little bit longer time. And that's one thing I would like to do at some point in my life is maybe have the opportunity to spend a month and just
Yeah.
hanging out there. Jeff Brook is actually doing that right now, Globe and Mail journalist, and he's done a couple of retreats. You know, last season he did it as well, and he's doing one this year where he's just, you know, he throws his clubs in the train and he's off and he goes and plays and, you know, hangs out with the people locally. You go to the pub. You're just part of the life that's there, and I think I would enjoy that more than just a, you know, hey, let's jump in a bus with a bunch of people and cram in as many golf courses in the same day, and here's our schedule and da 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 da, and then you're exhausted by the end of it, and then you're trying to realize, did I enjoy
Yeah.
that or not?
And I think then that's when you do these bucket list trips like Scotland and you know, whatever they happen to be,
Yeah.
you tend to squish everything together and
Mhm.
try to get it done. Like
Yeah, because you
I'm
don't
going
know
to
if
do
it's going to
this.
happen
Yeah,
again, right?
exactly.
So
And
yeah.
I think that as much as you enjoy it,
Yeah.
because you're doing it and it's on your list, I think
Mhm.
you would enjoy it more if
Yeah,
you
time.
spent more time. I like the
Yeah.
idea of that kind of thing, 30 days in Scotland kind of thing. And,
Mhm.
you know, the life, the golf,
Yeah.
you know, that kind of thing. I think that'd be a great trip to do. I
Well,
mean,
I
I don't know if I would myself would want to do 30 days in Scotland. I
yeah.
mean, I'm not wired that way, but I definitely would like to spend more time there and
Yeah.
spread it. I don't want to feel like when I go over, the
It's
next time I
rushed.
go over, I don't want to feel like I'm doing 2
Rushed.
courses a
Yeah.
day in
Yeah.
5 days
Yeah.
and the long flight and all. Like I just want to feel like I'm going over.
Yeah.
I got a round of golf this day, and then maybe the next day I got a day
Yeah.
off.
And I think the hard
No.
part too was we were there in when we went on our trip, we were there in November, so
Mhm.
light was a little shy during the day. Whereas when I went back the next time, it was in July
Yeah.
and had the opportunity to, you know, have daylight till, you know, 11 plus at night. So
Yeah.
there was lots of time just to walk across the links at St. Andrews, just to casually enjoy things, and you know, it just made it a lot more casual.
Right. Exactly. No, I would agree with that. Now, that said about Scotland, bucket list item number 2 for me is Ireland. I have got to get, like, I'm 52. I can't wait much longer to pull this one off, because I need to be able to enjoy the golf
Sure.
as well. But Ireland, just
Definitely.
golf over there just intrigues me so much.
Yeah.
And obviously Royal County down in Ballybunion are top of that list for me. And I know that there's way more over there than just those two. I totally get that.
Yeah.
But those are two that are prime on my list, and I've got to do that. I don't know when it's going to happen, but I got to do it.
RCD is definitely spiritual. I had the opportunity to go there in 2018 and write about it, and didn't play down south in the Republic, which, you know, but in Northern Ireland, just, you know, Ardglass and Port Stewart, and but RCD was certainly a special place. And again, it's very spiritual. You stand on that 9th tee, and it's one of the hardest golf courses in the world, and you see the spires of the Sleep Donard Hotel, and then you look up and the Mourne Mountains are up above you, and the sea is crashing to the left of you, and you're just like, plant me here. This is
exactly.
this is
I'm good.
So yeah, this is good. I don't care if I make, you know, 10 on this hole. So yeah, I would like to get back there as well. And like I said, I had the opportunity, but certainly for anybody who's got an appreciation for that game and that sort of, we'll call it more natural, rougher architecture, you know, the more dramatic dunes than you'll see in a lot of the places. You'll get that a little bit in Scotland, up towards Aberdeen, Peterhead, Fraserburgh. You'll get those big dunes or whatever, but not what you see consistently in some of those parts of Northern Ireland and Ireland. So that's a cool one. And you mentioned, as far as Scotland, I still would like to get a little further north in Scotland, Nairn and Brora, some of the places up there as well. And hey, that could be part of that month that travels. So there we go.
I like it.
All right. What else you got on the list?
One other one for me. You fortunately have had the opportunity to do this. I had the opportunity to do this, and I passed up on it, but I want to see the Masters live.
Yeah.
Not because I want to see the Masters live.
You want to see the golf course.
I want to see Augusta National live. And
course.
Given that, you know, a far down my bucket list is to actually play Augusta National, which is probably never going to happen.
Yeah, but
I at least would love to be able to be on the grounds and see what I see on TV live, because I know that television does not do that property justice. So I need to see that golf course up close and personal with my feet on the hallowed grounds. I need to.
Well, kind of a combo for that for me. And, you know, we're obviously talking about, you know, the UK, and you're talking about a major. I'd still like to get to the Open Championship and Open Championship. You know, ideally, obviously, you'd like to go to St. Andrews, but it's mayhem when that happens. You get 270,000 people there during that week. But I'd like to just attend an Open Championship. Of all the tournaments I would have left to play or see or cover, and that's one I would like to go as a spectator, because I've never been to too many majors as a spectator, or many events as a spectator. I went to the 2017 PGA as a spectator, and it was a totally different experience than working it, obviously. But then Open Championship would definitely be the one just to go and enjoy, and not have to run back to the media tent and file a story or worry about anything that's going on. Just sit and enjoy.
The sad part is the Open Championship for me. I love the Open Championship is by far my favorite major.
But
I
feel
love
a
it.
lot coming.
I love the Open Championship to watch it on TV.
Yeah.
I love the fact that the elements and plays such a major factor
Which
in the
means you wouldn't
scoring.
want to be walking
I
the
don't know that I
property.
really want to see one live. Like, I would love to. Now, let me quantify some things here. I would love to play an Open Championship golf course under Open Championship conditions. So I would play in the pouring rain and the wind and the hail.
But you
I
don't
would
necessarily
play in
want to be
that.
a spectator.
I don't know if I want to walk around with an umbrella that doesn't stay. I don't know if I want to watch that happen. I'd like watching that happen from the comfort of my own 5 a.m. chair. But
I think it's for me, it's the experience of the spectators, and I think it's the aura that was created from the early broadcasts that used to watch with the the BBC broadcast with Peter Alice and the knowledgeable spectators and the crowd and how they sort of enjoy the day. And it's way different than people just pulling out a phone and trying to get video clips of something that rather than just enjoying the experience. And I think for some reason, I mean, people do that at Augusta because they're not allowed to have a phone in there, which probably makes for a really cool experience that way. And it's probably changed over the years, but I think it's more just the experience of, again, just being around that more than anything. So
now, another bucket list kind of thing for me is, it's not even so much a bucket list thing for me as it would be for somebody else. But I would like, because my youngest son Brandon is a very avid golfer. Sadly, my older son Nolan is not such an avid golfer, so this would not apply to him because he wouldn't enjoy it. I would love for Brandon to be able to at some point experience a road trip with me. Like, and you, like, I mean, I'd love him to be, because we've taken people on road trips with us before, and the reaction,
good and bad.
Yes,
that's for another day.
But we've taken people on road trips with us before, and the reaction by those people to being on those road trips is always the same. How amazing it is to go through the experience of a road trip, of one of our Flagstick staff road trips. Not just a guy's jumping a car road trip, but one of ours. I'd like for him to be able to experience what that's like, because he's heard me talk about them, and he's read certain articles that we've written on them and things like that.
If they're passionate about golf, then they're obviously going to enjoy that.
I think he would be totally into the idea of 2-a-days and 9 courses in 11 days and things like maybe not that much. I don't know. I don't know if I can handle that, but but you know what I mean? Like, I'd love for him to experience that as a bucket list item for me, but as an experience for him, I think, as well.
I mean, I would like to see you guys, because I mean, again, my daughter plays, but she's not, interested at all as far as competitive golf. But you guys would probably have fun at a father-son tournament or something like that. Like the father-son in Waterville in Ireland.
He'd be carrying me.
Well, whatever the case, it doesn't necessarily have to be competitive, but the fact that you're competing together, there's an innate bond that happens through golf and through road trips. I mean, as well as I've been on lots of trips with lots of people over the years and outside of our own trips, but there's a connection that happens when you're traveling with people. You've got those common experiences, you've got those common bonds, those stories. I mean, there's people I talk to daily that, all of a sudden just send a note, hey, remember that time playing that golf course in the middle of wherever, whatever, and you just kind of laugh and go, man, what a situation that was. So it creates a different it creates a different element about it that's not necessarily just about the golf, about the score. So that would be cool. And I mean, whoever it is, but obviously if it's a family member, it's even better.
Now, I guarantee, like, my bucket list is I'm not going to say generic. It's unique to me, but there's got to be stuff on your bucket list that's just off the wall.
Well,
no, seriously. I mean, because you know a lot more stuff, and you're intrigued by a lot different things than most people in the golf industry would be intrigued by. So I got to think that there's a couple of things on your bucket list that just would not be on anybody else's.
No, I mean, as a golf professional and somebody who kind of, thinks about research and people getting better and performance and always involved with sports and sports performance and stuff, I'd still like to attend a World Scientific Congress of Golf, which is really it's basically an event where people present papers on research about things they're studying in golf. So again,
there it is.
People would be like, what? But yes,
That's
it
on
does
nobody's
happen.
bucket list except for yours, man.
I've had some friends that have presented at it and it was on their bucket list to present. Would just be a neat thing. Been to lots of teaching conferences and things like that, but that would be kind of the ultimate that way.
You could probably get DMAC to go on that with you.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, he would definitely be into that. And you're right. A lot of them, people are going to throw out the same golf courses.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's got these big lists of other courses and things they want to play. I do see one on your list that I think I can help you with. That because I know I'm going to play it actually next month. So, but I'm going to make arrangements, and you can come along if you like. So, but
Next month.
Sure, yeah.
Oh, are you going to the National?
No.
Hamilton?
Yeah.
Ah, son of a.
We'll talk off air. We have our golf journalist day just down the road, so we might have an opportunity to
yes,
yeah.
at
It's at Copetown Woods.
Copetown Woods, yeah.
So yeah, I'd like to see Ancaster before the the Open next year. But whatever the case, if that's not that time, we have some friends. We'll make some arrangements and make sure you get to knock that off your list, whether it's this year or next year, whatever the case. Anyways, other things there too. I'm sentimental about golf.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a golf course that was personal to me. It's in the middle of nowhere, 80 kilometers off the coast of British Columbia, in a place called Haida Gwaii, a little 5,500-yard golf course where I worked. It was the first place I ever worked, a place called Dixon Entrance, which is barely surviving. It's owned by the community now, but at that point there was a military community there, and they had this golf course. Beautiful little course right on the ocean, spectacular to see. It's not much. I mean, we're talking cows going through this place. We're talking flyer lies everywhere. There's teeny little greens. Members go out and cut the fairways and whatever. But it was the first place where I worked on a golf course. I did that for 2 years. First place where I ever won a club championship, won a tournament, I guess, for the first time, and it still exists. And I'd like just to go back and see if my thoughts or memories of it, and I have seen pictures of it or whatever, match up to the feelings and emotions and the attachment that I have to that based on something that happened almost 40 years ago now.
Yeah.
But just to go back and see it, and I've managed to go back and see some properties and stuff that were part of my youth before, but that would be one that would be on the list for me, which again would be something nobody else is going to think of.
And I'm very fortunate that I did have the opportunity to get a final round of golf at Brockville Highland, and that Brandon was actually able to be a part of that before it shut down. Because that was sort of, I wasn't really a golfer per se at that time, but that was the very, very first golf course that I ever played.
Right.
And I was fortunate enough to be able to play it one last time before they closed it. So
I know there's one on this list that we could do together, but it might beat us up pretty good. But we definitely take a cart. I couldn't see us walking it. But I'd still like to at some point play 54 in a day. Friends. We've done 36 lots over the years, and I'll tell people
we've done more than 36 in a day before.
Oh yeah, I think we've done 45, but I don't think we've done 54.
54 would be.
And I've done the last earlier this year. I did let me think. I did 48 in a day, but 20 was on a short course. That was at Blue Jack National in Texas.
Okay, let me do the math here. Hang on a second.
I did 18 and then 2 10s. So we need 3 18s. So, but sometimes
in a cart, I could probably pull that off.
Yeah, but so
where though?
I don't know why, but I think doing that at a place like TPC Toronto Osprey Valley, where they've got 3 golf courses, we could go back to Pinehurst. They're about to open number 10 there. That's someplace you go back and you play 54. Maybe you throw in one of the short courses. You do 4-2 and maybe 1 or 3 or 5. I will say, obviously, doing all 8 there when they had 8 in 4.5 days was a bit of a feat. But I mean, yeah, I'd still like to do that one time for sure.
There's the road trip.
There you go. Better make sure there's nothing the next day except naps.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Oh my gosh. Okay. So let's see. The only other thing on my bucket list is specific courses that I want to play.
Okay.
Like we just talked about Hamilton Country Club in Ancaster, the National.
Yeah.
More by intrigue than anything else. There's no other real reason for me to want to play the National other than why is this golf course? Why is this golf course number one all the time? Now, mind you, Cabot's sort of taken over that spot as far as the rankings, which I really don't give a crap about rankings at all.
Yeah, for sure.
But it's just one of those ones that's been at the top of the list of golf courses in the country for ages.
Yeah.
And I want to know why.
Sure.
So there's that one.
More than anything,
right? Royal Melbourne is
I'd
one.
like to do this. I'd like to do the Sand Belt as well. That would be amazing.
Bandon Dunes is another one that is just got my intrigue. There's something I think would be absolutely special about that place.
It's that links appeal, right?
I know. Augusta, obviously, I mentioned, and the only other one on my list that is a little different but is not unpopular. Is Eastlake.
Okay,
and Eastlake is on there only because it's the host of the Tour Championship and has been for a while. So it's kind of that every once in a while there's a course on TV that you just, you know what, they come back to this golf course every year. I know it's part of the community thing and everything, but what is it about Eastlake that it makes it such a great tournament for hosting the Tour Championship? Again, kind of like the National, it's by intrigue more than anything else that I want to play it.
Yeah, I'd like to still another area I'd like to get to in the US. I mean, you mentioned a few here. Been lucky to get to a bunch, so I know. I'm not greedy, that's for sure. But I'd like to spend some time, a little bit more time in Long Island, but with golf clubs in my hand, just because National Golf Links, Shinnecock, had some chances to play some courses there before. Some of them just didn't happen. But yeah, that would be an area I'd like to get to. And, Bethpage, Montauk, some of the public ones. I wouldn't mind some of that. Love the Northeast. We did some fun trips through the Northeast. I still look back at our Cape Cod one. It was a lot of fun. There was some
the captain
stuff there. And so that would be an area I'd like to get to. And it's like anybody else. We could sit here and you can make a list as long as your leg, and you can keep going here and going through this. But it was kind of the ones that popped to the top of your head right away. And I think the biggest thing out of this is I'd love to hear more from people about what their bucket list is all about.
100%.
Especially if, courses, why a course? Is there something else? Is there an accomplishment, or is there something? So if people want to comment below on the YouTube or any other social media, send us DMs, whatever the case may be. I'd love to see like a comprehensive bucket list, because you know what, that might prompt us to sit there and go, ooh, because I know there's one thing I thought about kind of after this, which I hadn't written down. I still want to go to the Gold Putter Vault at Ping. And that's not a golf course. So, I mean, those are things. Been to a lot of equipment manufacturers, seen a lot of things.
We could pull that off.
But that would be a cool thing to see. So I would expect that there's a lot of people who are probably going to have some things that are there, maybe things that we take for granted, like going to be custom fit by a manufacturer, going to see a golf ball plant, or what I mean, or interview an athlete or whatever. There's probably some things that we sort of have taken for granted because they're part of our normal life that we haven't forgot about. But I'd like to see where that is for people. And you know what, if there's any way you can help people to do it, that's always fun too.
Exactly.
Just to connect them with people or whatever, or show them a way that they can take part of those experiences.
And we don't necessarily know everybody in the golf industry, people, but certainly are not the worst people to reach out to if you're trying to do something, to knock something off a bucket list. Whether we can help you get onto a golf course that you want to play, or whether we can put you in touch with somebody who might be able to help you get onto a golf course. We do have a few connections still in the industry after 27 years.
Keep going.
28 years. My God. Wow.
Yeah.
But trying to fill some of these bucket list things, I'll tell you.
You got it. Let's get to it.
All right.
Let's wrap it up.
Let's wrap it up. That was great. A great back nine. Great chat about bucket lists. Thank you, everybody.
For
helping 100%. Us celebrate our 50th episode of the Flagstick Podcast. We really appreciate you. Thank you to our sponsors, Metcalf Golf Club, Castleview Golf Club, Our presenting sponsor, Adidas, introducing the Ultimate 365 Tour Heat Apparel and ZG23 Fendt footwear to help golfers handle the heat this season. The collection features a mix of silhouettes for men and women, made with heat-ready and no-show technology to keep golfers cool and dry so they can perform their best. Both the ZG23 Vent and Ultimate 365 Tour Apparel are available now on adidas.ca, the Adidas app, and of course, selected retailers worldwide. Thank you. I hope you've enjoyed this episode, the 50th, as well as listening and watching many episodes of the Flagstick Podcast. Be sure to follow us across all the social media networks, Instagram, X, and Facebook. Subscribe to Spotify, Audible, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, and do not forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel. Like us and click the notification bell to make sure that you never miss a single episode. Get over to flagstick.com because that's where you're going to find a more amazing golf content published every single day. As always, appreciate you tuning in. Until next week, I'm Jeff Potter.
I'm Scott McLeod.
Remember, always go for the stick.